Yes guys, welcome to a brand new video. My name is Conan and today we're going to be eating only oatmeal for 24 hours. So let's get into it. Now I know what you're thinking, oatmeal for 24 hours, how could you do that? Oatmeal is such a bland, boring food. How could you possibly eat that for 24 hours? Well, let me tell you, even though oatmeal on its own is a pretty bland, boring food and honestly pretty disgusting, if however you... Can these birds shut up? If, however, you get a bit more creative in the kitchen, you can come up with some pretty killer recipe ideas using just oatmeal. So that's exactly what we're about to do in today's video. We got some cinnamon rolls, some pizzas, some chicken breast. We got a bunch of things on the menu today. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so for breakfast, we're making some oatmeal cinnamon rolls. And now, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't really planned out this recipe. So we're just kind of doing things on the fly. But I think that this should be a pretty good recipe. So we got all the ingredients right over here. And we're basically going to mix all the ingredients together in a bowl, and then we're just gonna kind of see how things go from there. So let's get into it. For the base, we're using some oatmeal, obviously. We're actually using oat flour, and so like the actual oats, and so don't worry if you don't have oat flour. You can just use regular oats and then blend it up in the blender until it turns into like a fine powder like this. So this is basically just oat flour, again, just mixed up. We've got 1 cup of oats in here, and then basically we're just gonna mix plain yogurt into here until it turns into like a flour. Alright, so once you've mixed the mixture for anywhere from about 3 to 4 minutes, you should get something like this. So it should be like pretty much like a dough ball. So now it is time to knead it and roll it out. If you notice your dough getting a bit too dry, you can always sprinkle on a bit more oat flour on top just to kind of make it more kneadable. So once you've rolled it out for a couple minutes and it actually looks like a piece of dough, you can add your toppings. So what we're going to do here is going to add some Splenda and some cinnamon on top. We're going to roll it up into cinnamon rolls, and then we're going to pop it in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. Alrighty guys, so here we have it, the final product, some cinnamon rolls. And so for the icing, all we did was just add half a scoop of this cinnamon cereal flavor by My Protein, which, by the way, if you guys want to save 45% off your entire order, use my code Conan at checkout and you will receive your discount. So yeah, that's basically it. It was actually really easy to make, and they turned out, I mean, they're not like actual cinnamon rolls, obviously, but honestly, for what it is and for what I put in them, not too bad. It smells pretty good too, so let's give this a quick little taste test. Here we go. Okay, that is not bad at all. Considering that they're made out of oatmeal, I mean, I'll take it. So now I'm gonna eat this right now, and then we're gonna go work out. Alright guys, so breakfast is done, the food is nice and digested, so now we're gonna go train. And this entire week has actually been my entire deload week, and so I do highly recommend, if you're not already, to incorporate deload weeks into your entire macro cycle, because eventually your fatigue will start to accumulate, and over time you won't be able to progress anymore because your fatigue is simply too high. So the best way to get rid of your fatigue is pretty much to take an entire week of just deloading. And now basically what do you do on a deload week? There's a lot of different ways you can approach a deload week. So some like taking the entire week off, they don't even train, they just take an entire week off, and this is usually when they go on vacation or do other stuff away from the gym. If you still want to go to the gym, however, there are a few things you can do. And so what I'm doing right now is, in the first half of the week, you basically cut your sets and reps in half, but keep 100% of the weight. So let's say, for example, in the last week of your accumulation phase, you're doing 6 sets of 10 reps at 100 pounds. Well, basically now you're gonna do 3 sets of 6 reps, still using 100 pounds. And then in the second half of the week, let's use the same example, you're doing 3 sets of 6 reps using only 50 pounds. And so that's a really good way to get rid of most of your fatigue. And then once your deload week is done, you can get back into your accumulation phase. Obviously, you'd start off a bit lighter with around 3 to 4 reps in reserve, and then gradually you'll start to increase your volumes and intensity and stuff like that again. So yeah, that's the way I approach this whole training and deload thing. But yeah, this entire week has basically just been a deload week, and then after this week is done, we'll get back into our normal accumulation phase. Alright guys, so just finished my workout, if that's even what you want to call it, and also just came back from my walk, and we just got a package in from My Protein. It's a small package today, and we got this right here. This is the Pump by My Protein, so this is basically a pre-workout with none of the stim, so no caffeine in this. 6 grams of L-citrulline, which is nice, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, so yeah, pretty basic here, and this is great if you're trying to like cycle off caffeine, or if you're training at night, but you're tired, but you still need some energy, but you still want to sleep at night. This is absolutely ideal because again, it comes with no caffeine, so yeah, definitely gonna be trying this out in the future, but yeah, let's go eat now because I am absolutely starving. Alright, so what we got here is our breading station. Oh, in case you guys didn't know, we're making some breaded chicken with some oatmeal. So right here we got 200 grams of raw chicken. We got some egg whites in here and then some oat flour with some seasonings on top right here. Basically, very simple. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your chicken breast, you're gonna dip it in your egg whites and dip it in here, and then you're gonna pop it into your air fryer. Let's go. Alright, so we're gonna air fry it for about 10 minutes on one side. After those 10 minutes are done, we're gonna flip it and then do another 10 minutes at around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, see you guys then. Oatmeal coated chicken breast. Who would have thought? I mean, what? But yeah, here we have it. Oatmeal coated chicken breast. Added some ketchup to the side because ketchup is like one of the best condiments out there. Let me know, what kind of condiment do you like? And now before you say anything, I know what you're gonna say. Chicken breast isn't oatmeal. And like, I know that. This video was mainly just to give you guys some inspiration ideas that you could use with oatmeal and not of me just simply eating oatmeal. Because if I did an entire video of me just eating oatmeal, first of all, it'd probably be really boring. And second of all, you wouldn't really get any inspiration or ideas from that. Because like I said in the beginning of today's video, oatmeal is a pretty bland, boring food. But if you get creative in the kitchen, you can come up with some pretty interesting recipes. So here we go. Super excited to try this out. The smell is actually, it's actually really good. So it feels really weird eating like oatmeal breaded chicken breast, but ooh, that looks very juicy. Absolutely nailed it. Wow. Dip it in some ketchup and here we go. Super excited to try this out. Apart from this being really hot, it is delicious. And what's so good about oatmeal is because it's such a boring food, you can literally add whatever seasonings you want to it. I added some Italian seasonings to it, some salt and pepper. Mix up with whatever you want. You can add some Mexican spices, some Indian spices, whatever type of spices you like. Throw it in there, add whatever you want, and yeah, highly recommend. Okay, so it hasn't even been an hour since we last ate, and even though that oatmeal coated chicken breast was really tasty, it wasn't really filling because like it's pretty much just protein with like an added coating of like oatmeal around it. Carbs and fats were pretty minimal, so I am pretty hungry. So right now we're gonna be making some oatmeal pizza. Yes, you heard me correctly. Pizza made out of oatmeal. So in order to make the base, it was actually quite difficult, so it is kind of similar to the way we made the cinnamon rolls this morning, but instead of using yogurt, we pretty much just used water. And now the exact water measurements are going to depend on pretty much until your dough turns into like a dough-like consistency. So I always recommend starting with less water and then you can always add a bit more. So we pretty much just did like a tiny little bit at a time and then we mixed it until it turned into like a nice little dough ball, and then we kneaded it for about 10 minutes. Now this isn't like any regular dough because normal dough is a lot more kneadable and like manualable and it's just a lot more softer, whereas oatmeal, I mean, obviously we turned it into oat flour as well previously, but it's really hard to knead it because it's really tough and I don't think it has enough gluten in it in order for it to like shape like you normally could with like normal dough. But anyway, we tried our best. We kneaded it for about 10 minutes, took us quite a while, and once it turned into somewhat of a kind of doughy like consistency, we rolled it out into like a pizza and then we added whatever toppings we wanted. So we kept it pretty simple today. We added some tomato paste along with some fat-free cheese and then some veggie turkey. Popped it into the air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Alrighty, so the oatmeal pizza is done. I think I slightly burnt it, but anyway, let's give it a quick little taste test because I am very much looking forward to this. So here we go. Okay. I mean, it tastes like a pizza to me. I mean, the base, or as in like the crust, I mean, you can kind of taste the oatmeal, but I seasoned it with some Italian seasonings and some salt and pepper, so that kind of mitigates the whole oatmeal flavor. But other than that, the cheese, the tomato paste, and the veggie ham on top, all together, I mean, it tastes like a pizza, so I will definitely take it. I'll give this like a solid 8 out of 10, so definitely recommend this. So we're gonna eat this right now, and I'll see you guys for dessert.
Can I have a small bite of the crust?
You won't like this.
No, there's only one way to find out, isn't it?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, sorry.
The crust?
Yeah. Thank you.
Doesn't really taste like anything.
No, interesting. But it's good, good idea. Well, it's a good idea.
It's not filming.
Oh, it's a red thing. No, it's a good idea. I would say give it a shot. It's good.
I'd say so too.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, it's a really good idea. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
And none of that bullshit wheat stuff.
That means a lot coming from my mom. She actually likes my food, so you should definitely try this out too.
But only because there is no protein powder.
No protein powder. Alright guys, so we're ending the video with an absolute banger of a recipe. So right here we got some baked oats, and I'll have to give a big shout out to, I think his name is Trace Oats. I've literally been seeing him all over my For You page on TikTok and Instagram, and he posts like the most ridiculous oatmeal, baked oats type of recipe. So I actually did steal this recipe from him, so big shout out to him. Basically all this is just 40 grams of oats turned into oat flour. You already know, you don't have to necessarily turn your oats into oat flour for this specific recipe. You can just use regular oats if you want to. However, if you want like a finer cake-like consistency, I do recommend blending your oats until it turns into like an oat flour. After that's done, you're gonna grab 1 scoop of, I went for a chocolate vegan protein powder. You can use regular chocolate protein powder. I just went for a vegan one because that's the only protein powder I have that's in chocolate flavor. Then added some cocoa powder, a splash of vanilla extract, some baking powder to make it rise, a pinch of salt to enhance all the sweetness, and then some low-calorie syrup, and then a bit of almond milk just to kind of make it a bit more liquidy. And then that's pretty much it. Pop it in the air fryer at 350 for about 5 minutes, or basically until the top is nice and hard and the middle is nice and ooey and gooey and soft and just delicious. So basically once that's done, this is pretty much what you should end up with. So here we go. I like that consistency. That's really good. Another bite. Wow. So that's basically gonna wrap it up, guys. And one more thing before I end today's video is that I realized that all my meals were made inside of my air fryer, which, by the way, if you guys don't have an air fryer, don't worry. You can literally use your oven instead of your air fryer for this. This entire video was mainly just to share some recipe ideas and some inspiration with you that you can make with oatmeal, because oatmeal has a pretty bad rap for being just a plain bland food. But let me tell you, it is not, especially if you get creative in the kitchen and add it to different things. Like you guys just saw, you can do a bunch of different things with oats. So don't think of oats as being just this one specific food group that's not tasty, and instead be a bit more creative and think outside of the box and come up with weird recipes like this, which honestly taste amazing. Anyway, if you guys got something out of this video, whether it be recipe ideas or food inspiration, please be sure to go give this video a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.